hard to say anything that you have not overheard. But let me tell you, there's two things in life, winning and losing. And winning is a lot better. All right?
Hello and welcome to another edition of Only in Illinois, your weekly video recap from Reboot, Illinois. I'm Madeleine Doubek here with Matt Dietrich. And this week we want to reflect on the life and legacy of our former Comptroller, Judy Baar Topinka, Republican who died very suddenly of a stroke on Wednesday of this week. Pretty much shocked all of us.
Right. She was 70, but, and in, the last...
The older I get, the younger that seems.
And over the last decade or so, she had had a few health setbacks. I think there was a hip or knee or something. She had walked with a cane on occasion, but, she was just reelected a month ago. She was very strong during the campaign. She looked very good, and at the state fair on Republican Day this past year, she was really there to rally the troops.
And I tell you, I haven't felt this good about the party in a long, long time. I've seen it come and go. Look at this crowd. Look at the enthusiasm. You're excited. The momentum is ours.
And you and I were there in State Fair of 2013.
Right.
And this was right after, I think she had had some kind of surgery, and she was pretty tired that day.
It was hot that day.
And it was hot, and she had been campaigning, and she was not in a great mood. It was very funny, but she did give us the quote.
Here. And you know what? People are kind of sick of Democrat control here when the state is going downhill, and they don't seem to be able to get any leadership to pull together. So I think it's our time.
And that was the thing about Judy Baar Topinka. She is a former journalist, and journalists, every single one of us who ever encountered her would say you could count on her for a colorful quote every single time. And she was always going to tell you exactly what she thought, even if it might get her in trouble, even if it was maybe not the popular thing to say. And she had great success.
Right.
In spite of all that, or was it because of all that?
Yeah, I think that probably her popularity came much from that, and it even in her, her appearance, kind of the way she comported herself. She was unique, and the outspokenness, I think, just went along with her appearance, and some of her funny personality quirks. She played the accordion.
She danced a polka
liked to do the polka.
George Ryan.
And that was infamously used against her in that horrible Rod Blagojevich ad when she ran for governor in 2006. Right. And as I've said before, I think that the voters of Illinois who voted for Blagojevich in 2006 probably would have voted for Judy Baar Topinka for anything here on out that she chose to run for.
And she told us several times as she made the rounds this past election that, we probably all regretted that we elected Rod Blagojevich and not Judy Baar Topinka.
Right, and her rebound was pretty stunning. She came back, she lost in 2006 after serving 3 terms as state treasurer, after having served 10 in the state senate and a couple of terms in the House. She bounced right back in 2010. She had just won re-election, and she never changed the way she was. I think she only got more outspoken and more fiercely independent as she went on. She was not in the boys' club, obviously, the Republican Party, but she also didn't toe the Republican Party line. When Governor Quinn signed the gay marriage bill into law a year ago, there was one Republican on that stage, and it was Judy Baar Topinka.
She was a trailblazer back dating to her time in the legislature on reproductive rights, on equality for women, on gay rights, as you mentioned, which, it was really the right wing of the Republican Party that didn't appreciate any of those views, and yet they somehow came to a working agreement with Judy Baar Topinka, and she in fact served as state chairman of the state party for a few years there
Right.
when nobody else wanted the job.
And the other thing about her was, she was just funny. She just said what was on her mind, and I remember when I was on the editorial board of the State Journal-Register, anytime she would come in for an editorial board meeting, you could count on one thing. She would have a giant cup of coffee with her that would have a lot of lipstick stains over it.
Right.
But beyond that, everything was unpredictable because you didn't know what she'd say whatever was on her mind.
Everybody wanted to be in the meeting because you knew it was going to be entertaining.
And you never quite knew what shade her hair was going to be. Always, every time it was a little bit different.
Different shade of red.
So
What happens next?
her passing away when she did creates a strange situation in Illinois politics right now. The latest that we have heard was that House Speaker Michael Madigan and Senate President John Cullerton both have interpreted the state statute as saying that Governor Rauner, when he is sworn in, would get to make an appointment to fill the role of comptroller. However, there's also talk now of calling the General Assembly back into a special session to create a special election to fill the comptroller's office. We're not sure at this moment what's going to happen, but it looks like Governor Quinn can appoint someone for the next month, and it seems like there's consensus that Governor Rauner is going to be able to appoint somebody. Whether that's a 4-year appointment, who knows?
And what about the possibility of, lots of us have talked and covered the issue for many years of merging the comptroller's office with the treasurer's office.
Right.
It would seem now might be an opportune time to do that.
Well, Comptroller Topinka was pretty outspoken during her campaign that she definitely wanted to see that happen.
Until we get those offices combined and save $12 million a year, okay? We need to work together.
And Mike Frericks, the Democrat who won a very narrow victory for state treasurer, has said that he would be for that if there were safeguards in place. The problem is you can't really, that requires a change in the state constitution.
Right.
That's just not something that you can throw together
Quickly.
a month before you have to have someone else in that office. So, all of that is in flux, but that's going to have to be more of a long-term decision, I think.
Okay. Well, we will miss Judy Baar Topinka. That's it for this week's edition. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next edition of Only in Illinois.
Politics is a strange game, strange game. It ain't beanbag, it's a blood sport, and it's crazier than the Dickens.